Hi everyone, this is Kathleen Baber with Apricot Tree Planting. Please ignore the sound in the background. I'm cutting some sampler stickers that are usually my freebie that come in my orders, so sorry it's a little noisy. You kind of will know what it is to have a sticker shop. So anyway, I wanted to come to you today with a little bit of a different video. Usually you don't see my face, but this is my face and all of it. Anyhow, I get questions sometimes from friends and such about, how to get started with planning and why I plan the way I do. And so I thought I would kind of put together this Planning 101 Kathleen style, if you will. Planning is something that I have always kind of done. For a long time, I had a paper planner. And then for many years, I was all digital. And I enjoyed that way of planning very much. It was great for sharing calendars and sharing events, and I still use it. I have a Google Calendar that I use for, almost all of my appointments and such go into that first and then translate into my paper calendar. And the reason I switched back to kind of using both is that I found that one drawback of a digital calendar is it's really hard to get an overview unless you're sitting at your computer and doing your planning that way. But most of us are doing that on our phones. And so it's really hard to get kind of like a good monthly overview, a good weekly overview, and paper planning really does that. So one thing that I've always been a little bit fascinated with is productivity things. I've read Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits. I've read David Allen's book, Getting Things Done and stuff. And I have always wanted to be less of a procrastinator and more of an efficient person. And in some respects, I've done that. In other respects, I still struggle. I struggle with not wanting to do the things that I don't want to do and putting those off and saying, oh, but this is a good thing for me to do instead right now. And so I think that planning, in a sense, helps me with those things. There is a whole community of folks who are turning back to paper planners, and they have a myriad of reasons for doing it. Some of them just enjoy the creative outlet of it. They enjoy creating a very pretty spread using stickers and washi tape and colored pencils, but some of them do watercolor. Some of them draw everything in. I mean, some really stunning work. And I think it's wonderful because those are planners that hopefully people are keeping as a journal, and they're really priceless. I think planning is a needful thing in this busy world, to have a way of being able to track your time, to be accountable for your time, and to just keep up with where you have to be and when you have to be there. I don't think it does anybody any good per se to have a beautiful planner with gorgeous spreads and still not know that you needed to pick up Tommy at 4 o'clock at the soccer field. So I think there needs to be some functionality to it. Otherwise, it's just an art journal, which is great, but call it an art journal because you still don't know when to pick up your kid. So anyway, again, that's a semantics thing. That's just a personal, I don't know, pet peeve, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but I don't want to be snotty about anything. I mean, everybody does their own thing for their own reasons. I just think that if you're looking at getting into this, kind of evaluate. Do I need this in my life? Because I know personally, I need this in my life. I can become very scattered without it. But the fun thing is that it is a huge creative outlet, and it can be useful. So there can really be some functionality in there and creativity at the same time. So I'm going to switch now to going to my overhead view and show you guys some of the different planners systems that are out there. and discuss a little bit about why I use what I use and why some other folks might use what they use, um, and kind of what I've done in the past, and why one thing over another might work for you when you're looking at your planning possibilities. So I will be right back in a different format. Alrighty, so I wanted to show you guys a couple of planner options that are out there. There are the traditional 6-ring binder. Now this one doesn't have much in it as far as guts, and this is called a personal size. There's a couple of others. There's like an A5, and I can't remember if there's a B something too, but these have been around forever. There's Daytimer, there's Franklin Covey, there's Filofax, this one happens to be a cover from Recollections at Michael's. They have a nice line of these. They're inexpensive, which makes them fun to switch out the covers. This one just comes with a few pages in it. The really fun thing that wasn't around when I was in this type of planner, when I was doing Franklin Covey, which were quite pricey for the inserts, is that now there are some really fun options on Etsy and stuff to get the inserts, print them at home, or to buy them from companies that set them up in a little more of a friendly, mom-friendly fashion. Is that what I want to say? I'm not sure. For me, what never worked on the Franklin Covey part was much of it was designed for business people and very detailed daily schedules, which is wonderful when you're in business. I certainly used that sort of format when I was doing real estate. But as a stay-at-home mom, which is what I get to do now as well, plus running an Etsy shop, which doesn't take me out of the home, but it does make me rather busy, is that many of these are set up in a more weekly spread style, and so it is more for not necessarily the stay-at-home mom, but the person who's working, whose life is outside of those work hours. You're not necessarily documenting what you're doing at work or for work. You might have just working 9 to 5 today, and everything else is in those hours before and after. So that's what I like. One of the fun things about this too are there are a lot of great shops that make dividers, which mean that you can really make this sweet and personal. They do all sorts of beautiful things with these side pockets and just fill them up and make the whole thing like a piece of art. But the fun thing is that then they switch it all around and it's ready for the next season, and it's really, really cool to see people do that. One of my favorite shops to watch with the setups is Tiffany at Cardboard Couture, and she does beautiful dashboards and dividers. So I'm thinking about turning this guy into a Christmas planner. I watched Nikki Plus 3 do that with a little larger setup, but I thought it was really a fun idea of just putting your Christmas plans in something separate. So I'll talk about that in just a moment, how you can kind of divide things out. So that's your regular 6-ring binder is what I call those. Then you get into what a lot of folks are into are the spiral bound binders, and this one is a Recollections binder, and it's a very, very similar to the Erin Condren binder, which is one that you have to buy, planner, which is when you have to buy online, or there are, I think, a few staples that have Erin Condren ones. The fun thing with Erin Condren is that you can customize it. You can tell them what you want for the insides, what you want for the cover. They can put your name on it. These covers are detachable, and there are lots of cute Etsy shops out there that make covers for them. This one, a lot of people would call it a knockoff, and Yeah, it pretty much is. So much so that it's rumored that there was a big lawsuit between Erin Condren and Michaels about the design of this. I purchased this just for sizing purposes, for making Erin Condren stickers. This was one of my first kits. And just to see what the formatting was like. Very often what you see with planning like this is you'll see these nice big wide stickers down here, termed washi stickers. They make a beautiful design statement, but this planner and the Happy Planners have a very similar layout, and that is that they do things vertically. And so you have your 7 days a week, and then you have 3 rows here that you can then use how you like. It was interesting. I came across some really old videos on YouTube the other day, and the Erin Condren used to actually say morning, day, and evening for the headers, and now they have it completely blank so that people can choose how they want to set this up. And some folks will say, okay, this is all my work related things, these are all my home related things, these might be an activity related things, or I'm just going to journal here, or I want to do something creative and pretty here. They mix that up, or they may do all their to-dos on one row, all their appointments on another, and then sometimes that will flow into the next row. Some folks completely ignore these sections and just say, this is how my day went chronologically, and they'll stick a to-do list in the middle somewhere and say, you know, this is when I went to the gym, and then I went to work, and then I, you know, had this for dinner, and I watched these television shows. And they really are recording or journaling their whole life this way. And those types of plan with me's that you'll see are often called plan as you go. So I'll tell you a little more about how I have mine set up in just a moment, but this is wire bound. So this means that you cannot take and add or remove pages without, you know, destroying the whole planner. So that kind of moves me into the Happy Planner system, which is a disc bound system. And the setup is very similar. One of the key differences that you'll see between a Happy Planner and an Erin Condren or Recollections planner is that, sorry, let me swap this out for one that has some blank pages. Okay, is that you'll see that more space is appropriated to the boxes and less to this bottom section. So that makes for more useful space in the box, in my opinion, and less of a decorative impact that this bottom area can have when you put a strip of a sticker here. The kits that you'll see on Etsy for sticker kits and stuff, the ones that are Erin Condren, this kind of makes or breaks the whole kit because they are stunning. I will tell you, they have a huge visual impact. But as you can see, it's still the same basic premise. You've got your 7 days across, and then your rows that go horizontally. And you still have this sidebar area where you can put notes for the week or goals for the week, or lots of folks do what they call habit trackers, where they put down something that they want to, you know, say walk every single day, or take vitamins, or you know, read. So anyhow, that's kind of what those are. They're, especially in the Erin Condren
community, there's been kind of a big push, and you can see it in her, on her site, that there are folks who like these things kind of pre-done with the colors and all, and then there are folks who absolutely want it completely neutral, and they're doing their own thing with what colors they choose for the week and such. So these are kind of, this is kind of the standard format that is dominating the planner community at the moment, which is this vertical style of planning. And there's kind of the two camps. You've got the Erin Condren camp, and you've got the Happy Planner camp, and folks do switch back and forth. There's some strong opinions for either or. I use a Happy Planner, and one of the main reasons that I do is I like the disc system. And I think it's one of those things that you either love it or you hate it. But the reason I like it is I do like taking my things in and out. I like being able to say, okay, I'm all the way done with June, and I can pull this puppy out. And I keep my planner fairly small. Right now it doesn't feel that way, but fairly small, whereas this will bulk up over time if you're using a sticker kit like every week or so. It just gets really thick on the rings. And the other thing is the price point. Erin Condren planners are pretty pricey. I think they start at $55. This starts at $29.99, and you can buy it on sale almost every single week. And you can walk into a store, look at it, and purchase it. There are many different styles, many different covers. This is the Hello 2017, which is very seasonal. As you can see, it's got like the leaves for September and stuff. I'm a seasonal gal. I like that. But there are lots and lots of different ones. The other thing I really enjoy is with the disc system is taking and adding things and just creating new notebooks, just with having some covers and some rings and throwing some paper in it. So I have the punch, I use the punch, and it just makes it way more of a flexible system for me. Mostly I use it as my calendar, but I do have a meal planning section, and I also have my finances. So this has worked out really, really nicely for me. So there's a third type of planner I wanted to show you that's gaining in popularity. Oh, before I move on to that, I did want to show you that the Happy Planner comes in 3 different sizes. And yes, I have and use all 3 sizes. This is the Big Happy Planner. Ooh, and I've got some icky stuff on there. Get off! Okay, and this one's called the Southern Charm. And I use this one for my business. And so I do not decorate it much. I jot things down. I write on it. I write things. I tried to get really detailed about what I want to do and all of this. And there's weeks that I don't get to work on it, especially in the spring. I was doing school, so like I say, this is about as decorated as it gets. But I track my social media stuff. I track when I'm running campaigns. Like this was a really great week. I got to work on a lot of stuff. And I just have it nearby. As things pop into my head, I put them down. But like I say, I don't get to, not every week is filled in because not every week I get to do. So anyhow, this is the big, and it is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So you could just punch a sheet and it would fit right in here. And I like that very much. It is large. I do not tote it around. This stays on my desk because it's my business one, and that's where I work. This is the classic Happy Planner size. It's very similar to the Erin Condren size. It's a slightly larger. And this is where I plan my days. And so when it says ATP orders, that's Apricot Tree Planning. Those orders may be detailed in my bigger book. If I have APT day, that might mean that I get to do some designing and stuff. Well, I don't detail all my design ideas in here. They're detailed in my big book. So that is why, for me anyway, it makes sense to have 2 different planners with 2 different sizes, and I like it very much. And then this is a mini happy planner, and this one gets put in my purse, and I have this little band around it. It's just a little hair band, but it just keeps it shut. And this little guy, it just has the bare basics in it. Where I have to be, what I have to do. Doesn't usually have too many to-do lists. It just has, you know, hey, this is what this day's blocked out to be. This was like the same kit and what I got to do this week. So the mini has its own purpose in that I don't want to carry around my classic size. It's a little large for carrying around, but if somebody were to ask me, hey, are you free on Friday? And I have this big old finance day written in here. Nope, I'm not free. I've committed that I'm going to take care of my finances that day. So luckily I took care of that. So that was awesome. And in the past, I have carried more. I have had my mini as a wallet. And that worked for a little while, and then not so much. So I go back and forth, and I flip things around, but my mini is kind of just a little bit of a brain dump place. When I'm having a quiet moment and I'm out and about, I'll pull this out and I'll look at it. I'll sometimes do some little bit of future planning, thinking about things, and I'll put them in there, and then that turns around and goes right back into this. So the last type I wanted to show you is one that's become very popular. This is a Webster's Pages Traveler's Notebook. And I did try to use this with my mini inserts, and it didn't work out so well for me. I find that this gets really heavy fast. Right now it's not too bad, but it does get a little heavy for carrying around in my purse. But I like it, and when I know I'm going to be somewhere that I'm going to have some time to think, you know, waiting on the kid or husband or something like that, I throw this in my bag because this is kind of a brain dump spot for me. And so this is what a traveler's notebook looks like. And you can put any type of notebooks in here you like. And there are some really great shops that sell notebooks. I got these. This is a menu planner one, and I do use this on a weekly basis. And this was a perpetual calendar, birthday calendar, anniversary calendar. And I got these from Yellow Paper Planning, I think it's called. Anyway, really cute shop, lots of cute things. Right now I don't have a calendar in this, but I do have little notebooks. So this one's kind of like church related and church notes that I've taken, and I've had a lot of fun just doodling in this on Sundays. And it does keep me kind of focused, and I enjoy it very much. And then this are shop ideas. And so I'll pull that out and throw down some ideas when I'm sitting and waiting. And I just got this little guy, this little folder. I got it at Hobby Lobby. And like I said, these were Yellow Paper House, I think. And this is my standby for when my church one's all done. I've got a new one. I got this at Hobby Lobby as well. It was kind of in a pack with this guy. And this cute dashboard was by Cardboard Couture. And then I made myself some because mine are a little odd sized. So I wanted them to cover the edges. I need to make some more because flamingo season and pool party and all that is just about over. But anyway, these are held in by these straps. So you can get some expander bands that allow you then to take two notebooks and put them together kind of back to back, spine to spine. and then hold them together with one of these. And so this particular one has 4 strands, and you could put up to 8 notebooks in them. And then you can do these cute little dashboards to kind of protect them. So Traveler's Notebooks are very, very popular right now, and I think they are a really fun way to not just to organize your calendar, but to think creatively. One of the things that I really enjoy about planning, and I have found absolutely true, is something that David Allen talked about in his book, Getting Things Done. And he says, you know, when you are trying to juggle a lot of things, your brain is working on overload all the time. It's trying to remember this and remember that and keep everything in this little short-term memory part of our heads. And just like RAM on a computer, when you have too much trying to run all at the same time, things get dropped. And if you take those things out of RAM and put them in long-term storage, like on the hard drive, in a trusted system, it then allows your brain to think in more creative ways, in more problem-solving ways. And I find that this is absolutely true. When I sit down and I put everything into my trusted system, be it my Traveler's Notebook or my classic Happy Planner, when I do that on a daily and weekly basis, I am so happy because it takes it out of this, oh, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget mode that keeps me agitated and anxious that I have forgotten something. And so it becomes very calming and soothing to me to put it all down on paper, to see that whole week in view and know that, okay, I got this. And when then something comes up, oh, don't forget, I have a way to put that in there and work it in with the rest of my week, and it's not going to get forgotten. So that is super important to me. So we've kind of talked about the why. We've talked about the what, which are all these little planner systems. And I wanted to talk a little bit about when. For me, I like to be about a week in advance in my planner, but I'm not always a week in advance. Today is Sunday the 30th, and I don't have next week planned. And I haven't had the next week planned for a couple of weeks now. It does make me a little anxious, but one of the fun things about this type of system is that you can just put everything down with sticky notes and then go in and make it really cute and pretty. The fun part too is because it's just down on sticky notes, you can change it. If something gets canceled, it's not a scratch through on your calendar. It's just really easy then to say, okay, this week I'm going to try it this way, and if this way doesn't work, look at this, I've got a clean sheet the next week. You don't go through, or most folks, I'll amend that. Most folks do not go through and do an entire month in one go. They really like to do this on a week-to-week basis. I don't know what's happening, per se, on the 13th of August yet. So having this super detailed and very pretty and everything on it doesn't make sense yet. But it will probably about Wednesday or Thursday of the previous week is when I would ideally like to start to plan things out for the following week. So that's one of the things I really like about this system. I do enjoy just having things down on the sticky notes. Right now I kind of just have some ideas about how I want to decorate. I do have in my mini, I kind of have my daughter's marching band schedule, football games, competitions, Saturday practices. I have this all in here on my monthly view, and I will be translating that over to this because I don't really care about the monthly view in this. It's just a place to jot things down. So my win is usually at the end of the week or hopefully the middle of the week previous, and put it on there. I know a lot of planner girls really enjoy Sunday as their day, their me time. It's their time to relax and just enjoy. And I think that that is wonderful. And the last thing I wanted to kind of share with you is kind of the how. So you might look at this and get anxiety, and I don't want anybody to get anxiety if they look at a planner and say, oh my goodness, I can't do this, I can't go out and buy all these stickers or all this washi. You can do this super simple. And when I first started out a year ago, that's exactly how I did it. I had a little bit of washi and I had a few stickers, and I just did everything in pen, and that's fine. That is all it has to be. It has to work for you. And if you don't feel like you have the time to sit down and make it beautiful, who cares? It's your planner, and you need to do this exactly the way you want to do it. I was kind of moving over from experimenting with a bullet journal. I used the little key that they use in bullet journaling, and this is how I migrated over into the Happy Planner. Here I started to get a little more decorative. I played more with some washi. I actually put down a picture. I made a little flag of, or a little thingy here that was a packing list. I got a little more decorative here. I used some washi. I put down some date stickers, and as time evolved, you know, some of these things I've been less I've been less artistic and a little more, I don't know. Sometimes I go back to something like this, and that's fine, and it's really fun to kind of just switch it up. If I feel like I've been in sticker heaven for too long, I come back to doing just a really simple spread. This was the first sticker kit I ever purchased, and it was a monthly kit, and it's really cute. This was something that I did where I used scrapbook paper, and putting down scrapbook paper with a little bit of border washi and things like that is really fun, and it gives you a big pop. And guess what? Scrapbook paper is dead cheap. You can buy a huge pack of scrapbook paper, 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, for $5, and cut them into 1.5 by 2.5 inch triangles and put them down. And there is nothing wrong with that. I used a little die cut there. Really fun. These are Mambi stickers, which are a huge value for just doing something simple and having it work out nice. So play around with it. This was way too much for me. This was way too busy, but it does scream Halloween. And then just putting some little journaling cards in turns it from a planner to a journal in a big way for me. So anyhow, this gets into the last year and this year and all sorts of fun. I wanted to show you kind of a week where I was just done with stickers. I just was like, this week. This was a week where I was just like, I just don't want to do any stickers. And I did a little bit of washi, tiny little bit of stickers, and I actually love this spread. It's very simple, but it took almost no time to do, and I think it's pretty, very pretty. And I used the colors that were already on the page. Believe me, by the end of May, I was done with pink though. So this was scrapbook paper, and then this was a sticker kit that I made. And this was scrapbook paper and some washi and some leftovers. And so anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea that there is a broad range of how decorative versus functional you can go with your planner and still feel part of the planner community. I really encourage you to go on YouTube and look for Plan With Me's. There are tons and tons out there. I try to do them on a regular basis. Generally, I am promoting the stickers that are in my shop and the kits that I have. But sometimes I do like to just show you, hey, this is how you can do this with scrapbook paper and have a whole different look. So there's just lots and lots of ways to make these personal, to make them you, to have a lot of fun with this, but still have something that's truly helpful and needful in our busy, busy lives. I hope that this answered some questions for you regarding the different types of planners that are out there and how they are used. And if you have other questions that you'd like me to answer, please comment in the comments below, and I hope that you'll like and subscribe to this video and to my channel, and meet me back here very soon for more fun planner stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye.